Will you please remain standing for the posting of the colors and also remain standing for the singing of the national anthem? Please be seated.
Good morning and welcome to the inauguration of Methodist University's 5th president, Stan Wearden. My name is Deborah Davis, but these days I seem to be mostly known as the president's wife. I'm learning that first names are a hard task in this part of the country, but I would love for you to call me Deborah. It was about a year ago that Stan was a finalist for the job he now holds, and we came to campus for 2 days of interviews. At one point, I called my dad, and I told him I thought it was going well, but you just never know what people are looking for. And my dad said, well, if they don't hire Stan, it won't be the first mistake anyone's ever made, but it might be the biggest. We may be biased, but I also think you made an excellent choice. Yes, he tells a lot of jokes. And yes, I could never train him to put his shoes in his closet. But he is supremely capable at his job. And he has already given his heart to Methodist University, and I know he'll work very hard to lead it well. So I want to all the people who have welcomed us here so warmly to this community, I want to thank you. And to all the people who have traveled so far to share this day with you, I thank you as well. We're truly grateful for all your love and support. Now the program says to stand next, but since you just sat down, we'd like you to remain seating for the invocation from the Reverend Kelly Taylor.
Will you pray with me? Lord, you have been our dwelling place through all generations. Abide with us still in this high moment for Methodist University and this community. We ask blessings on those gathered here, on the representatives of the great academic institutions of our land, trustees, alumni, and our dedicated administrators and staff, and finally, our reason for being here, upon our students. We most particularly seek your blessing on Stan Wearden this day as he joins the Methodist University community. May fresh challenges excite his heart and mind and kindle in him the creativity to journey with us beyond any old limits, holding nothing back. May he and Deborah feel at home here and find joy and satisfaction in this chapter of life, where what is new draws enrichment from all that has come before. We are grateful for this prestigious university, built from the inspiration and persistence of many and sustained for more than 60 years by those whose aspirations and prayers are now one with the brick and stone and with every moment of this beloved place. As a university community in the Wesleyan tradition, may we, the people called Methodist University, live the core truths revealed in Scripture, illumined by tradition, vivified in personal experience, and confirmed by reason. In a world that hurts, may this university be a bridge across chasms that separate individuals from one another, and may Methodist be a crossroads where all the intellectual and moral currents of our times meet and are thoroughly considered. May Methodist University be a beacon bringing to light in modern focus the wonderfully traditional and ancient principles of truth, virtue, justice, and love. God of all generations, may your favor rest on us. Establish the work of our hands for us. Yes, establish the work of our hands on this inauguration day and for all days. In the name of Christ we pray. Amen.
Good morning. I'm delighted to be with you today. I'm Hope Williams, president of North Carolina Independent Colleges and Universities, our 36 private nonprofit colleges and universities across the state, and I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Wearden as a member of our board. As a member of the Governor's Education Cabinet, it is my honor to bring you greetings and congratulations on this great day of celebration from higher education in the state, and also especially on behalf of our other independent colleges and universities, many who are represented here today. This includes our 35 other presidents, whom you have joined on the board, our more than 66,000 faculty and staff, and our 90,000 students from around the world. Private higher education has a critical role in the lives of our students and families. Our colleges and universities, and specifically Methodist University, all have a significant impact on the educational, cultural, and economic growth of our state. Methodist has a strong mission which reflects its dedication to students as well as to the Fayetteville and Cumberland County communities, the surrounding regions, the state, and the world, represented by so many of our international students. This mission includes providing education firmly grounded in the liberal arts tradition and the nurturing of moral value and ethical decision-making, well illustrated when Methodist won the NCICU Ethics Bowl in 2013. Providing distinctive professional and graduate programs, complementing the undergraduate programs, all of these we've seen grow across the complement of courses and degrees offered by this great university. Preparing students for a variety of careers and educational pursuits, and especially the growth in the healthcare fields, health sciences, and STEM. In pursuit of this mission, the Board of Trustees, each president, and all the members of the Methodist community have built a strong foundation for the university. One of the challenges boards of trustees face as they select presidents is to find the right person for the right moment in the life of the institution. The challenge for the board of Methodist University was to find a person who could build on the foundation so firmly laid here and take the university to new levels and greater heights. So to the search committee and Chairman Healy and all the members of the board, I want you to know that if you had earned a grade, as our students do, at the end of the presidential search project, from everything I see and hear, you earned an A+. Methodist University has a major presence in Cumberland County in North Carolina, and all of us in private higher education look forward to working alongside you, President Wearden, as together we ensure that our independent colleges and universities remain an affordable option and the right choice and fit for young men and women around the world. So, Dr. Wearden, Deborah, we are thrilled to welcome you formally in this critical role for Methodist and for North Carolina. Thank you for your leadership, and please accept our best wishes and warmest congratulations.
Good morning and greetings from the General Board of Higher Education and Ministry of the United Methodist Church. I am Mark Forrester, the Assistant General Secretary, and I serve in the area of collegiate ministry for our denominational office. Dr. Wearden, I also bring great greetings this morning from Associate General Secretary Mark Hanshaw and our new Acting General Secretary, Greg Berquist. In a recent global address to our Methodist-related colleges, universities, and seminaries, the Reverend Berquist reminded us that John Wesley carefully intertwined education with faith when he formed the Methodist tradition as a student movement at the University of Oxford in 1729, and later founded the Kingswood School in 1748. Nearly 300 years later, the tradition of Wesleyan education has lifted millions out of poverty, swept fervor for social justice across every continent of the earth, and created space for society's most marginalized people to step forward and claim their voice as principled Christian leaders. At the General Board of Higher Education and Ministry, we are proud to be part of this tradition, and we are very proud to connect and support thousands of United Methodist and Methodist-related schools around the globe. And we are proud, especially this morning, to stand by our schools such as Methodist University as they face the headwinds of change. No doubt, Methodist University, along with hundreds of Methodist-related schools worldwide, are challenged by many troubling trends afflicting our tradition and the broader culture. And it would take much more time than I'm allocated this morning to list all of those challenges. And yet I assure you that the General Board is very confident and most pleased to know that President Stanley Wearden will be a proven person of great talent who will uphold always the Wesleyan ideal of inclusion and diversity that seeks to do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. President Wearden is a principled member of the Academy who embraces the role of faith as integral to the larger human quest for meaning and purpose in God's world. He embodies, as a leader in Methodist higher education, the Wesleyan understanding of vital piety, of faith and reason, of belief and critical thinking to be both necessary and compatible aspects of an enriched learning ethos. And so, such qualities of executive leadership in our schools, such as Methodist University under President Wearden's unfolding tenure, will definitely encourage the General Board of Higher Education and Ministry. And so, this morning, we offer our best wishes, our prayers, and support on this great day of inauguration and celebration.
Good morning, everyone. I bring you greetings from the Alumni Association. I'm honored to be here today on behalf of the Alumni Association and the more than 12,000 alumni. We are so honored to participate in this ceremony in the inauguration of Dr. Wearden. I want to tell you all how much Methodist University means to the alumni. This is home for us, and no matter where we are in the world, this is still our home. I have a group of several classmates that I get together with several times of the year to reminisce and have fun. We wouldn't be this group if we hadn't all been at Methodist together. And we have many, many, many more alumni that come back for homecoming and do the same thing. So we are very honored and privileged to call Methodist University home. When Methodist opened its doors 59 years ago, it was the start of some strong traditions, and they've even gotten stronger as years have gone by. All the students, all the alumni, we are so pleased to have Dr. Wearden here today. And we appreciate your leadership, your talent, your commitment, and everything that you have given or will be giving to this university. So today marks a new beginning. Excuse me. I'm honored to welcome your leadership and all your wisdom, and I look forward to working with you many years to come. Welcome home.
Good morning. Dr. Wearden, on behalf of the faculty and staff of Methodist University, I would like to congratulate you on your appointment as the 5th president of this institution. Methodist University consists of wonderful people who remain loyal to the university and who are committed to its mission to recognize the dignity and worth of all human beings and to affirm the importance of intellectual values and ethical principles such as truth, virtue, justice, and love in the education of tomorrow's leaders. We have collectively built beautiful new buildings, added innovative academic programs, and made other important decisions regarding the future of this institution. While we may have changed the landscape of this campus, our commitment to the liberal arts remains firm. We have a collaborative spirit, we are excited, and we are energized. We know that there is still much to be accomplished, and we are ready. We look forward to what the future holds at Methodist University, and we stand alongside you in support of your efforts, contributions, and initiatives in making this great place even better.
Dr. Wearden, whenever I get the opportunity, I enjoy thanking new students for taking a chance on Methodist University. So it only makes sense that I give you a long overdue thank you for being here. We as a student body are fortunate to have someone of your caliber leading us. When our students come to college, they invest far more than just their finances. They invest a portion of their future. They invest time. What we have as a result of this is something far greater than any sum of cash. We have invested students, creating a community that is desired by most, but most importantly, welcome to all. I hope that our community has embraced you with open arms. Truthfully, our students are blessed with a home here at MU that few will ever have in their lifetime. It is my goal that everyone will enjoy the same comfort, inclusion, and culture that we have all been so blessed to experience. However, we are not what most people expect in a university. What we are is what most people pray for in a community. We are far more than just MU. Not one saying, cheer, or cliche stands a chance at describing the bonds and relationships that we develop with our faculty, our staff, and each other. So for now and the future, Methodist University is and will be your canvas. Let our culture, values, and diversity be colors on your palette. And Dr. Wearden, I earned a C in high school art. I do not expect the Mona Lisa. All I and everyone in the student body expects is your best, and we'll accept that no matter the circumstances. So let me remind you, no journey is ever straightforward. They are often riddled with challenges. Luckily for us, we get to have you by our side. I'm excited to see where you will lead us. I'm excited to see what you will paint. And on behalf of the student body, I'm excited to officially welcome you to Methodist University. Welcome home, Dr. Wearden.
Good morning. Good morning. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to have been invited to share these reflections for the inauguration of the 5th President of Methodist University, Dr. Stanley Wearden. Stan. I am supposed to read, but I won't do much of it, so be prepared. This is a solemn ceremony, but this, we should not forget, is also a moment of great joy and happiness. Because this is when Stan and Deborah and Methodist University combined are starting an important and successful journey. So celebrating them also means to share their joy. And that is what I would like to bring here to you. I have known Stan as a colleague, and above all as a friend, for many years. Since the time I was still living in Florence, Italy, and Stan was the Dean of the College of Communication and Information at Kent State University. Our professional relationship continued, and the friendship grew after I came to the United States, until he abandoned me and moved to Chicago. Don't worry, Stan, I forgave you. I would like to start with two stories that I hope will set the context. The first one goes back a long time. I think it was the winter of 2009 when Stan, myself, and our wives, Deborah and Kristen, visited Assisi, the hometown of St. Francis in the Umbria region in Italy. I have very special memories of that trip. The solid blue skies, the wonder of Giotto's frescoes and the penumbra of the basilica, and something magical that was happening with our spirits and as travel companions. I feel, Stan and Deborah, that is where it all started, and it's still continuing. For the second one, we move all the way to India. Deborah knows that. 4 years later, at the foot of the Himalayas, during a visit to a university. The memory this time is very specific, is of a car ride at surreal speed down a steep, curving road in the middle of the jungle, rushing for no reason to the local airport. In complete silence, Stan and I were both contemplating the odds of facing imminent death. This is when, in the back seat of the car, Stan and I think, were holding each other's hand. Do you confirm? Why these stories? I told you at the beginning we need to be happy, but also because memories cement friendships, and experiences teach us way more about people than words do. At this point, I think I'm expected to enumerate, I would be expected to list all the many and impressive accomplishments in Stan's academic and administrative career. But I won't do that. Not only out of time constraints, Because today we are not giving Stan an award for his past achievements. Today, it's his investiture to a new role that will bring him and this university into the future. So, what do I know about Stan that I originally wrote can, share with you? And I reassure you that it is my sincere intention to keep you employed. So I know a few things about Stan. I know that Stan has an intellectual mind. What is it? There could be many definitions, but mine is that an intellectual mind is the contrary of indifference. It is, in other words, the openness and willingness to understand the complexities of reality and, above all, people's souls, aspirations, fears, ambitions. And this also entails, based on this premise, allowing the lessons we learn to spur our values and infuse our actions. This is what I know about Stan. Stan has the intellectual mind required to leaders. This kind that I am defining. The kind that is critical to successfully run universities. The peculiar business that universities are. Universities are delicate creatures, struggling to meet the demand and to adjust to the constantly changing challenges of the society, the economy, and politics. Yes, a leader needs to do this, and this is fine, but there is much more than a university leader should do in these days, and that Stan can achieve. We need leaders to be able to inspire institutions and to turn them into their leading roles that they were meant to have and should be expected to occupy in society. Universities need to lead. They cannot follow. Especially in these days, they have the enormous responsibility to be beacons for the future of our young generations. I am perfectly aware that this is idealistic. But watch out, I said idealistic, not utopian. And I know that Stan is perfectly capable of bringing this component of idealism here. Because the type of leaders I'm talking about, the type of leader that Stan is, must act pragmatically but talk the language of idealism. And being idealistic is not naive. I've heard that so many times. I don't want to hear that anymore. It actually takes a lot of courage. And this is why someone like Stan is a perfect match with the mission of this university. I know I am very presumptuous, but having attended the dinner last night made me understand that this is a place where education is really special, and you need that element of idealism. I know more about Stan. It's still safe. I know that Stan combines intelligence and kindness, too often a rare commodity in our times. What does it mean? It means that reason without compassion doesn't lead to the common good. it doesn't lift us to higher, but sometimes less obvious aspirations for ourselves and others. It is not easy to combine these two values in a decision-making role as a university president. I know, as a consequence of all this, that Stan is a leader, is the leader that this institution needs. I know it very well because I never witnessed him make plans or pursue visions neglecting the human component. Stan knows very well that education is much more than something useful. Education is a value, and we have to go back to that narrative if we want education to survive in these challenging times. Outside of this theorem, education doesn't serve its most noble purpose of elevating the individual. I benefited by all of this by being Stan's friend, and I'm truly grateful for this. Stan has been a role model for me and has brought inspiration in my life. The fact that he will now bring these gifts to Methodist University will not take them away from me. Thank you.
Good morning. Dr. Stanley T. Wearden, you have been duly selected to serve as president of Methodist University. It is my great pleasure as chair of the Methodist University Board of Trustees to install you in this position with all its rights, privileges, and responsibilities. By accepting the President's Medallion, will you accept the charge to serve with diligence, dedication, energy, vision, and integrity as you carry out the duties of President of Methodist University?
I will. Thank you very much.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I declare you to be the 5th President of Methodist University and charge you with the responsibilities pertaining to the office.
So I had no idea that the last test for me was to see how long I could hold that mace, which appears to have been made out of lead. Thank you, Chairman Healy, and thank you all. I confess to being a little nervous when I woke up this morning. I don't get inaugurated very often. But I remembered the 118th Psalm. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. What an amazing week this has been, and what an extraordinary culmination is today. I am both deeply honored and profoundly humbled by all of this. It is an honor and a privilege to serve you as president, and it carries with it a humbling responsibility to get this right. to work with you effectively so that Methodist University may serve its students with excellence and may thrive for decades to come. I wish to thank the Board of Trustees and Chairman Mac Healy, the faculty, the staff, the students, and the alumni of this great university. Thank you for this week, for the opportunity to serve you, and for the very kind welcome that you have extended to me and Deborah from the start. I also wish to thank those who are visiting us today, delegates from other institutions of higher learning, from Fort Bragg, from the North Carolina Conference of the United Methodist Church, from North Carolina independent colleges and universities, and from city, county, state, and federal governments, as well as our friends and family who have traveled to be with us. Thank you so much for being here today. To my family and friends, I owe an even larger debt of gratitude for the many years of love, support, and kindness you have given me. I especially want to mention my mother, Betty, who is watching this on live feed today, and who raised me so selflessly and so well, even when I was less than a cooperative son. I wish to thank my father, Stanley, who is no longer living, but who still models for me what it means to be an academic professional. My mother-in-law, Mary, who is no longer with us, but who offered me and my children such instant love and acceptance. My father-in-law, Ron, who also has extended to us incredibly generous love, acceptance, and support. And my brothers and sisters-in-law, especially John, Lori, and Bob, who are here today, thank you for giving me a sense of belonging to a larger family, and for kindly tolerating my terrible proclivity for corny jokes and puns. To Dr. Marcello Fantoni, thank you for not embarrassing me as much as you could have. There are plenty of other stories from that trip to India, believe me. And thank you so much for your kind words this morning. It means a great deal to me. When I think of you, I think of the words of Leonardo da Vinci, who said, "I've long since known that people of real accomplishment don't sit back and wait for things to happen to them. They go out and happen to things." That's you. Finally, I owe very special thanks to my extraordinary wife, Deborah, who is my moral compass, my best friend, my editor, my partner in every way, and who has graciously and patiently accepted the many, many challenges of being married to Stan Wearden. Special thanks also are due to our children, Katie and her boyfriend Jim, Emily and her boyfriend Nick, and George and his girlfriend Kristen, who are all here with us today, as well as Henry and his girlfriend Alana, and Joe, who were unable to make it today. You are my greatest joy. You made life challenging at times, but rewarding, fun, and love-filled all the time. Methodist University, what an amazing place. A year ago, I was feeling increasingly drawn to this university, impressed by its tradition and its growth in just a few short decades, charmed by the beauty of the campus, impressed too by the strength of the curriculum, the dedication, commitment, and talent of the faculty, staff, and trustees, the intelligence and kindness of the students, and fascinated by our potential. This week's tagline has been "New Beginnings, Strong Traditions." I will confess that I'm not a particular fan of taglines. Perhaps my favorite is that of the hypochondriac who had inscribed on his tombstone the tagline, "I told you I was sick." Or maybe Groucho Marx's tagline that our librarians might like, "Outside of a dog, a book is a person's best friend. Inside of a dog, it's too dark to read." Still, this week's tagline works for me because it captures what I saw in Methodist University 1 year ago and have come to see even more clearly since. In a presentation earlier this week, I showed an image of Methodist University's tradition as 3 concentric circles. The inner circle represents the core of what I believe is our identity, a commitment to spiritual and moral inquiry in the great Wesleyan educational tradition. The middle circle represents our commitment to liberal arts and sciences, and the outer circle represents our strong professional and pre-professional programs. If I were skilled at graphics, which I am not, I would also have found a way to show that these circles are porous, permeable. The beauty of who we are is not only that we are committed to all these things, but that we are focused on the ways these areas of thought, inquiry, and practice interact, intertwine, and inform each other. A Methodist University student receives a truly holistic and integrated education. She leaves this place career-ready, but also capable of a high level of critical thought and creative problem-solving, with a heightened sense of her own moral agency and as a skilled ethical practitioner. She is able to communicate with a high level of efficacy. She is able to make better sense of life and of the world around us. She is able to be more effective and engaged as a citizen and to derive more joy and satisfaction from life. Excuse me. Not a great day for my allergies to flare up. But this will only continue to happen if we continue to respect all three dimensions of our tradition, and if we continue to teach across these dimensions in an integrated way. We must be vigilant about the creation and reification of silos. We must remind ourselves that all the things we think of as academic disciplines are, in the end, simply social constructs that emerged over time for intellectual and epistemological convenience. It is a reductionist error to think otherwise. I am not arguing for the elimination of academic disciplines, but I am arguing for two changes in perspective. First, given that all academic disciplines are social constructs, it is a fallacy to think that any one of them is more important than the others. All bring value to human inquiry and thought, but the greatest value stems from our ability to integrate them and use them collectively to solve problems and challenges. There are no discipline-specific problems or challenges. There are just problems and challenges waiting to be solved. They are all best solved when they are examined from multiple different angles. So we must respect one another and work together on solutions, rather than slipping into smugness, superiority, or dismissiveness. The second change in perspective relates to relevance. In every discipline, we have a duty to ensure continuously that the things we are studying and teaching remain current, relevant, and intentional. Given, again, that academic disciplines are social constructs, no specific discipline will necessarily have permanent relevance. If that were not true, we would still be studying and teaching alchemy, still trying to convert lead to gold. It is therefore our duty to both test our disciplines against the standard of relevance and to change them or abandon them when they fail to meet that standard. We are not in the business of preserving silos. We are in the business of helping our students understand how best to know the world in which they live. I've talked a bit about new beginnings already in my comments on disciplinary relevance and integrative learning. From a business perspective, this talk so far has all been about our product. And it's critically important that we keep a steady eye on product excellence. But our product has value only to the degree that there is a market for it. And our market is shrinking in numbers, it is changing both demographically and geographically, and it is being disrupted by the joint forces of perceived value, cost of delivery and infrastructure, and rapidly changing communication and information technologies. We can no longer rely on our traditional market or our traditional almost exclusively face-to-face method of delivery. We all know there has been a steady decrease in the US birth rate. Beginning in about 2008, that declining birth rate started to affect the number of traditional high school graduates. You know, it's interesting, we were once able to practically ignore this market. There were plenty of students. There was a time when enrollment management meant managing our enrollment so that it didn't get too big. But now all universities are competing for a shrinking slice of a shrinking pie. We will, of course, remain in that competition. But we also need to diversify our student market, and I have 4 groups in mind. First, we are adjacent to the largest military base in the world. There are many active duty soldiers and family members who could derive great benefit from a Methodist University education. There are veterans who are looking for education and training to begin new careers. But we must make sure we are ready and receptive to this market. We must become a great deal more generous in our acceptance of transfer credits from military students who have done part of their studies elsewhere. And we must make it easy to award academic credit for military training credits. In addition, we must ensure that we are nimble and flexible in the learning modalities such as online that we provide and in the programs we offer, which should include both professional degree programs and a range of professional certificates. The second group is community college students. Gone are the days when we refer to these schools almost dismissively as junior colleges. And gone are the days when some believed that most students attending these colleges were there because they were not academically prepared for a 4-year school. Now we know that most students attend these colleges precisely because they are smart. They realize they can get the first 2 years of college at a much lower cost, and that upon completing their associate's degrees, they can transfer to a baccalaureate institution. After transfer, these students retain and graduate from bachelor's programs at a rate nearly 20 points higher on average than traditional first-time freshmen. These are good students being taught by great educators. To reach them, we need clear partnerships with every community college within 50 miles of Fayetteville. We need to be much, much more generous in our acceptance of transfer credits. And we need to explore dual admissions programs and even dual enrollment programs whereby community college students can take at least a limited number of their courses at Methodist University at their community college tuition rates. The third student market group I'm thinking of is online learners and adult continuing learners. In an age when I can manage virtually my entire life from my digital devices, why can I not also take most, if not all, of my college courses on those same devices? To some degree, this is appealing to traditional college-age students, but it is even more appealing to adult learners who have jobs, households, families, and lives to manage, and for whom a face-to-face education is nearly impossible. We need a robust selection of online programs, both degree programs and certificates. And we must begin to position ourselves as a university for life. We should not have students and alumni. We should just have students in various stages and levels of engagement and involvement with the university. At any given moment, some will be taking courses and some will be temporarily inactive until they need us again as their careers and interests shift. And this means we need to develop the customer service infrastructure and communication strategies to remain in contact with these students over the course of their lifetimes. And we need to ensure that we are continuously ready with regular curricular upgrades so that we always have the product in place to serve these students. The fourth group on my list is international students. American higher education is still the crown jewel of excellence. There are still many, many international students who would like to study in the United States, and there is tremendous value in having them here, aside from the fact that they're a valuable market. We live in an age of global economy and global polity. We need an increase in cross-cultural understanding and empathy. And there are few better ways of doing this than having international students on our U.S. college campuses and by sending our domestic students abroad to learn in other lands. We will never cease to be a faith-based liberal arts and sciences university at heart. Those values will continue to infuse all we do, regardless of student market or learning modality. I'm really just talking about extending the Methodist University educational tradition, our brand, to other markets that we do not traditionally reach. I could go on talking about new beginnings. My family could tell you how I can go on. We need to rethink how we fund and maintain residence halls. We need to examine various ways of monetizing our undeveloped land, and we need to launch a campaign to significantly increase the size of our endowment. But I've talked more than long enough, and those are conversations we can have another day. I want to conclude by saying that Methodist University is grateful to the community of Fayetteville and Cumberland County. This is a community that generously founded and continues to support this university. We believe our mere presence here enhances the community, but we must also rededicate ourselves as a university to actively supporting the community. We need to be in regular conversation, not just about what the community can do for us, but about what energies and talents we can give back to the community. We want to be an integral part of the ongoing and impressive transformation of this region. Let me just say again, I am profoundly honored and grateful to be in this job. And I'm both humbled and enthusiastic about the responsibilities and opportunities it brings. So thank you very much for celebrating with us today, and thank you for your patience with my remarks. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm supposed to say now please rise, but it looks like you anticipated that comment. So please join in the singing of the alma mater. The words are printed in the program. Please remain standing for the benediction, the retiring of colors, and the procession of the platform party. Thank you very much.